Pump the brakes. Don't go anywhere because in today's episode, I'm giving you a roadmap to create 100K as a coach. And for sure, stick around because I'm also going to be sharing something I'm hosting coming up that's going to help you find clients right now in 2024. Hello, coaches. Welcome to the Best Damn Coach podcast. Amanda here. While I've been in your ear every week over the summer, I did a massive batch recording day back in May to work on all of my May, June, and July episodes. So today I'm back in the recording seat. This is my first episode of a long day of recording, and I am on fire because I've been putting together so much great content. I'm about to bring on so many amazing guests. And today's episode is all about you making 100K. And this episode was inspired because I was recently on a podcast myself, and the person was not a coach necessarily. They were in the social media kind of marketing space. And they just said, Amanda, do you think it's really possible in today's economy or in today's industry, coaching industry, to actually make six figures, like with all the coaches out there? And my immediate answer, you guys, is heck yes, it's 100% possible. And I'm proof of it. My clients are proof of it. Many of them have done this or are on their way. And so today's episode is all about what it takes to create 100K in your business. And now this number is a little bit arbitrary. I just want to say, like, this is like that sexy six-figure 100K. And then you have like the next one, which is seven figures that everybody talks about and we throw around. And the interesting thing is, I was always like, why 100K? But like, there's so much before 100K. There's 25K. There's your first dollar, first of all, that you make, the first client you sign, first couple $100, first 1,000, first 25,000, first 50,000, first 82,000. So there is a lot between here and there. And then there's even more between 100,000 and seven figures. And so what I want to say is everything I'm going to cover is that trajectory. I think it's important to know where you want to go. And for many of you, that's not 100K. So replace that 100K mark that I'm going to use today with your number. If that's 25K or that's $2,000 a month, that's whatever, paying your mortgage. What the steps I'm going to be sharing today are the same. And that's really what I want to land today is I jumped into this coaching business with no marketing sales experience. Never literally sold anything in my life. And then I jumped in and I was like, crap, how do I do this? And so I have definitely flung a lot of spaghetti at the walls to see what sticks. I've made mistakes 100%. I've fallen on my face. And I've also had some really big wins and some ahas. And I feel like those wins are getting more rapid because of all the failing I did early on. I'm definitely a quick start, which means like I probably don't do enough research sometimes. I'm just like, let's go try the thing. And that's really helped me often, but it's also probably created a lot of unnecessary suffering for myself because I'm in this constant restart mode and I've broke that pattern thankfully. I know many of you suffer from it as well, but I want to help you have a roadmap today towards 100K, and you definitely want to stick around to the end because I'm going to be inviting you into into an opportunity, a special workshop I'm going to be hosting that is one of the number one things that's going to help you get to 100K. So, cliffhanger, make sure you come along with me till the end. And I think as I was thinking through this episode, I was really thinking like, yes, I believe 100K is possible, but I'm also not naive. I'm being asked this question because there's doubt that exists. It seems like the coaching industry is saturated. It seems like there's not a way for everyone. And I just want to reaffirm like, there are so many industries around you that are replicas of the coaching industry that are ahead of us, where saturation happened and people came in. And what happens though, here's the true story, is that a lot of people are going to feel frustrated and they're going to want immediate ROI. And when they don't get it, they're going to turn away. I'm seeing this. Colleagues that I started with that are literally telling me there's not a way for them when I'm over here like growing and growing and making more money year after years because there's this resiliency and this eye on the prize that is necessary for us. And so I also want to be transparent. Like, I'm not here to sugarcoat this. It's going to take work and it's going to take time. But once you have a roadmap, what you do is you just double down on it. And I wanted to share some interesting statistics. If you don't know these statistics, I heard them years ago when I was at a life coach school mastermind event. I'm sure they've shifted. The best I could find was data from 2022. But here's something to note. Less than 10% of female owned, I'm going to emphasize female owned businesses will make 100K. there isn't any specifics in the coaching industry. Even lesser than that are 2% of female-owned businesses will have a revenue based on 1 million. And so why I'm sharing that is that I don't think that this isn't possible for everyone. I'm not a unicorn. I don't think you're a unicorn. I think we're all really alike. I think the difference of the 10 and the 90 is you that are listening, you that keep wanting to do the work, you that are like, I want to fight for what I believe in, you that are willing to hold fast to your mission and are also willing to understand that we are here for a marathon and not a sprint. If you came in thinking you were going to be a millionaire coaching, you are in the wrong industry. I think there's probably other ways to make money faster. I don't know, never been in them. But what I do know is that you are here because you have a heart for service, you have a passion to serve others, and you want to be paid to do what you love. And that is 100% possible. And so today I want to give you a roadmap, my roadmap to making that happen. I just remember being back in the classroom and, signing my first contract for like $4,000, thinking like I'd struck gold. And the thought of ever making six figures in 1 year, just like that wasn't even something I was dreaming of because I'd already settled into the idea that it wasn't possible for me. Like I wasn't in a career where that would happen. And in fact, I didn't care. And I still don't care. It is a marker of success. And part of the reason it is a marker is because as we grow, we have greater expenses, right? As we increase our revenue, we hire more team. Maybe we have more software. We buy like nice cameras and nice lighting equipment to have a higher quality podcast production. But knowing all of that is understanding that you don't necessarily have to have that 100K goal mark. I'm going to use that today as just this sample, but plug in whatever feels right for you, whether it's to pay the mortgage, whether it's 50K, whether it's your first client. I don't know where you're at listening to this, but every single one of you listening has a mark. And the reason, again, we set specific SMART goals is because we need something tangible to measure ourselves against. I think a lot of you shy away from doing that because fear. What if I fail? What if I don't hit 100K? Who cares? Because in the pursuit of 100K, if you make 50K, that's pretty freaking rad. And that's what I want to remind you of. And so I also believe that many of the coaches I talk to come into coaching, they've got a certification or they decide to coach and they're like, okay, I'm going to step into my business and it's going to be 80% coaching and 20% businessing. And it's the other way around in the beginning. You have to become great at business too. You don't have to know anything about business. You don't have to have a business degree, but you do have to understand that to get to that point in your business where you're coaching for 80% and businessing only 20, then there's going to take some front end work. You're going to have to build a strong foundation of understanding what it's like, and you need a roadmap to do that. And so I'm going to share today my steps to going through what you need to do to make 100K. Now, there's lots of ways to make 100K. So, what I share is just my way and what I see work for my students. You could probably interview 10 different coaches that have surpassed that multiple 6 and 7 figure mark, and we all might say something slightly different, and that's okay. I'm going to share what it's taken me to do this while always having a family, putting that family first, maintaining my health and fitness, always having great work life balance, maintaining friendships, being there for my parents and running a business that I know I want to be doing for a long time. And so I always am like pumping the brakes a little bit to like step in, check in on burnout specifically. So let's go through the roadmap. Step number 1 in this 100K roadmap is identifying who you're going to serve and how, like, if you know them well. So there's a great quote that I always share in my signature framework workshop, and it's from Robert Herjavec. He has a great story, but he's also he's a judge. I think I can get out, a judge on Shark Tank. And he basically says this: find a problem, solve the problem, and the business comes second. But truthfully, we have it flip-flopped often in coaching because we're so inspired by our personal growth journey that we want others to have it, like I was. Or you just love coaching, you love helping people, so you're like, I'm going to be a coach. The problem is people aren't buying you and your coaching people are buying results. They want to know that you can get them what you're promising them. And if we're not clear on what we're promising them and we don't know how to speak to them, then we really don't have a business to begin with. So this is where I see a lot of failure to launch when it comes to coaching, is we're not really sure how to articulate this. So in my communities, we're spending a tremendous amount of time in what we would call messaging, is learning to speak the language of our clients and doing market research to know what they say, so that when they hear us talk, they're like, ooh, I want her solution to business specifically. So step number one is identifying the who and identifying the problem that you solve specifically. Again, this is like a first step even in the Framework Builder Lab, because you can't build a framework if you don't know these on the front end. So once you know that, step two is creating your framework specifically. So in other words, I know the problem I'm going to solve. So let me get to how I'm going to solve that problem. What is my step-by-step methodology or my signature coaching framework? So that if tomorrow somebody was like, okay, Amanda, I'm ready to hire you, you would know and have a vague idea of where you're going to guide them so that the results are guaranteed. Too many coaches are winging it. So then what happens is they get that first client, but they don't know what they're going to do with them and they don't really curate results. So it's a missed opportunity. You're leaving money on the table. This is why we have the Framework Builder Lab. Of course, if you're new or if you've been listening for a while and it's landing differently, I definitely encourage you to go jump into the lab. It's a great place to get support with live coaching, to build out your framework and iron out some of these kinks, the who, the problem, the framework specifically. And you can check out the Framework Builder Lab, by the way, at amanda-walker.com/lab. That'll also be in the show notes. So identifying the who and the problem, building your framework. And when you build your framework, here's what happens. Step three naturally happens is you have an offer that falls out, or some of you might call this a package. There are some differences between a package and an offer. Let me iron those out for you. A package is like the container that we're going to deliver our coaching in. Maybe it's 6 weeks. They get one call a week. They get Voxer support or email support or WhatsApp. Where the offer is how we package it up, the bonuses that we include, and maybe the way we price it specifically to incentivize purchasing. And so there's lots of ways to create that offer. And if you look at just the number 100K, by the way, you could do this lots of ways. You could have 10 clients that pay you 10K. You could have 100 people that pay you $1,000. You could have 1,000 people paying $100. You get the idea here. You could have 2 clients that pay you 50K if you're like high performance, flying everywhere in coaching. So there are lots of ways to build 100K, but my suggestion is start with one offer. Again, I've said this lately on the podcast. If I could go back, I would have stuck with one offer and just focus on getting really freaking good at that one offer from the beginning. Instead, I saw this opportunity to build all these offers and make lots of fast money, which was fantastic. But the amount of energy and time it takes to keep those offers moving and to keep them going well and to keep a funnel of people coming into them is tremendous. And so I am such a fan of build one offer. So that is step 3. Once you have the offer, step 4 is starting to build an ecosystem. This is a main focus inside the BDC. So I teach all of my coaches how to, if you were just to imagine kind of an upside down triangle, a pyramid upside down, you might call it a funnel. I don't call it a funnel because I think what that presupposes is that the clients have only one way. But a true ecosystem has like this free component at the top where people are just interacting with you. Social media, my podcast is the top of my ecosystem, could be your YouTube channel, but it's just a place for them to get to know you and say, wow, I really like what Amanda has to say, or no, she is not my girl, right? We want to repel the people that don't love us immediately and bring on and really invite those that love us to go deeper. That second tier of your ecosystem is the value place where you're now saying, let me show you what I got. Let me show you what I can give you. So for me, this is workshops all the time, free trainings that I give, going to potentially to even speak into small communities. But what this level does is it builds credibility. It elevates you as an authority and really begins to propel you into this kind of thought leader space in your niche. Many coaching businesses that I audit and keep and have in my community are totally missing this. They are just thinking, I'm going to post a few times on social media and boom, my client's going to come to my offers. And while that does happen, especially in the lower ticket realm, the thing that's missing is the middle. This is the gap we have to nurture. Our lead time basically when you meet somebody until they become your client is getting longer a lot because there's just more people. So that means we doing what we're doing, right, in our niche. So that means we have to build credibility. We've got to really keep nurturing them. And it's not like a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, you're in and you're out. And so building an ecosystem is a way to warm them up. And I love in my ecosystem a micro offer. I hands down think this is the single number one strategy that has our reason why our revenue is up 64% is I built a really fantastic micro offer in 2023, the Framework Builder Lab. It gives our students a taste of what it's like to work with me and get results. And therefore, it's positively impacted all the other offers. The minimal amount of one-to-one coaching I do and the BDC is growing rapidly because of this micro offer. If you don't have this in your business, this is definitely an opportunity. I mean, just a heads up, this might be something coming your way in 2025 because I really think this is the way. This is where most coaches are missing an opportunity. I'm about to be teaching this to my BDC students live in our implementation event in August. This is a great time to join the BDC if you want in on that too. So now you have this ecosystem, step 4. Number 5 is go to where you are not known. So you have to then actually get out of this bubble of being at home and running a business from your house potentially. And you have to go meet people. You can do that online by attending networking events. You can do that in person. You can do that at the grocery store. Or one of my clients just got a client because she talked to somebody at the dog park. I've been encouraging conversation. She's like, you're never going to guess this. I met this random lady at the dog park. We started talking and she became my client. I'm like, this is what business is about. Think about yourself. How many times have you been at a party or something and you run into somebody, you're like, give me your card or we should exchange information. And then they come into your world to bring a service or product. That's how business works. Coaches, we are no different. But the other way we go to where we are not known is by pitching to be on podcasts. This is a main strategy for us. My team and I are pitching every week to be on podcasts. I go out, I get exposure to new audiences. They come listen to my podcast. Many of you listeners probably found me on a different podcast. I go teach in groups. I do speaking events. It's getting in front of your audience, or even if it's not the perfect audience yet, it's just getting in front of audiences so more people can go, oh, she's an expert. He's an expert. And this is a key strategy to really extending your network. And step number 6 is definitely a mindset strategy because, I can't get through all of this without speaking to that, is that you have to be willing to delay gratification. You have to build this muscle of resiliency. So delaying gratification means that when I put out a post, I'm okay that not a lot of people might like it right now. I understand that there are people that are voyeurs of my content and they are consuming and lapping you up, but they may not show as a potential client for 6 months or a year. We might host a workshop, and for the first one, we might only have 1 or 2 people, and they may not immediately become our clients, but we're going to show the heck up and keep nurturing them and keep sending our weekly newsletters. And we're not going to be naive about it. We're going to keep tweaking and adjusting, and we're going to do market research and ask questions behind the scenes. But what we are going to do is build that mindset that this is going to work, not, this isn't working. I only have 2 people. I might as well go back to my job. Like, that's the problem, is many coaches give themselves a choice that it will or won't work. I'm thinking to my brain, like, when I started this, I was like, yeah, I'm going to make this happen and I'm going to find a way. And that's the kind of mindset that I think easily gets you to 100K is I will create a solution and I will keep working at it until I find the one that works best for me. As I said, I see people leaving the industry that weren't willing to do these things or kept thinking that they were working at what I would say needle moving strategies, and they really weren't, right? So for me, this isn't like a first person to get to it kind of experience. This is a last woman standing kind of gig. And I will for sure be the last woman standing. And at some point in my future years where I'm like, okay, I'm hanging up my coaching hat, I will have known that I showed up over all of these years to keep showing up for my people. And that's really where I keep focusing in on you. And so that is your roadmap. It's actually pretty simple, but simple isn't easy, right? That's why along the way, I haven't done this alone, right? I figured out, hey, I need to put some people that are before me in my world so that I could get there faster and learn from their mistakes. And that's exactly what we do in the BDC, of course. But that's what I'm giving you today is this is what it takes. It's simple. Identify your person, the problem, create a framework, build your offer, have that ecosystem, and then go out and rinse and repeat. Get yourself in front of people that do not know you. And there's many strategies to doing that. I have some ones that I love, but a lot of my students do lots of different things. And I think that's the coolest part. This is where that autonomy to build a business that you love really comes into place. And so if you struggle with that part, the whole getting clients part, this is the little mention, the surprise that I wanted to invite you to is I'm going to reveal like the exact process that I use to find clients in an upcoming workshop on August 27th, 10 a.m. PT. I'm going to give you kind of the step-by-step process to find clients right now in 2024. I have heard out there from many sources, webinars don't work anymore. Social media is just not working anymore. Email newsletters are dead. And I'm going to say no to all of those things because we use all of those things. But there's something else, some other things that we're doing to find those clients first. And I think that many of you might be missing that. So if you want to learn how to find clients right now in this industry, join me August 27th at 10 a.m. I love to walk you through my framework for finding clients. I love to give it to you. I don't want to gatekeep. You can come ask all the questions. I want you to have success. I want coaches out there seeing that this is possible. And anything I can do to support that, I am here for. So, again, if this was a helpful episode for you, I would love and appreciate if you would leave a review for us. And one of the one of the things I have the most gratitude for is if you would just share this episode to somebody who you think might benefit, or even take a screenshot as you listen, post it in your stories, tag me so I can celebrate you and we can have a conversation about the episode. But that's the way more eyes get on this podcast, and I am able to serve more coaches, more awesome coaches just like you. So I will see you same time, same place next week. And until then, go coach them up.